Hi you guys, I'm going to paint this little forest gnome for you today. I'll show the example here. Really cute. Now once again, I've done an exhaustive search. Who owns this? So I'd like to avoid any and all copyright problems. I'm sure some really smart person, a really talented person, drew this, and I would like to pay them my respects. I'm going to start with the filbert, which is one of these round tipped. I'm going to start with this hat. The last time I painted this, I started with the background, and I'm just going to see if this isn't easier. I'm going to take the filbert and go along the edge of the brim of his hat. Now, I suppose I should be changing the color of this hat since I don't know the artist. In the business, you're supposed to do, you can be inspired, but to downright copy, they prefer you do something called Frankensteining, where you are simply inspired, but you come up with a whole new piece of art, basically. So, however many gnomes have been painted in the forest, anyway, we're going to paint this guy today. He's got a little blue bonnet, little blue bunting bird, little robin I called it originally, on his hat. And it's just the cutest little bird. I'm going to go over those branches and I'll be able to figure all that out. When we go to fill that in, I'm going to try and make that edge as nice and solid and finite as I can. I can blend it in the hat, of course. This tip of this brush is not very tight. Sometimes it even pays, if you're using a tracer like I am, to outline some of the intricate details that you would hate to have covered and lose, or just have to retrace. But doing my best to not cover all of it, to be able to see some of what was drawn in. I think I'm capable of drawing in a branch in case I cover it to the point where I can't recover it. It's not a big deal. And, you know, that's taken me a few months to really get into that mindset where I'm comfortable enough to say that yeah, hey, I could draw that, I could fix that. I didn't do that at first. No, 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 no. I had no idea. The only painting I had ever done in my life, in which, yes, I did a lot of it, but not with a brush. We painted with tubes of paint. It was called Artex, or Trichem. It was also stamped out onto a fabric, like Pellon or something like that. It was our neighbor when I was growing up was the district manager, and her entire basement was full of Tricam paints and projects, and I have to say that's probably where the itch started to be creative. Virginia Brown was not only our neighbor, she was also district manager for the Trichem Corporation, or at that point it was known as Artex. District manager in Illinois anyway, probably Chicago offices. She was also my piano teacher and my first grade teacher's sister-in-law. And they, like I said, were neighbors. So, you know, we were in close proximity, like a small community, when I was growing up. I grew up on 97 acres of land. We were in suburbia prior to that, Riverside, Illinois. My dad was working for WLS at the time. I just want to tell you a little bit about this color I'm using. I really dig it. It's Pueblo from Folk Art, Deco Art. It's a folk art brand. Excuse me, Deco. I'm mostly buying Deco now. Mainly because of my membership, I get a kick-ass price. So that's nice. And as you can see, when this first went on, it's not going on all that dark. But that's okay because my second layer, I can use it as my shading. See that? Use it as my shading. Okay. So, it's not like when I say I grew up on 97 acres that we had a whole lot of money. Because that would not be the truth. My father worked in radio, and then he trained to be an insurance salesman. And he studied and took the test 4 times to be a broker for insurance. My father was a very, very smart man. That brokerage test about took him out, though. Oh, man. That was hard on him. Because it was a hard test. There's a lot to know to be insurance. And, yeah, you just really need to know your stuff. We were very fortunate living there on all that property. We started paying, you're not going to believe this, but it's the truth. I swear to God. My father paid Harry Espenscheid $90 a month to live in a 5-bedroom farmhouse on 97 acres of land. We moved in 1960, and my parents finally sold in 1992 and downsized to a different house. At one point in the 73, 74 era, when Harry was coming around to now subdivide that 97 acres, see, that's how we got it so cheap. He had plans. He raised the rent to $5 to $95. And then he made my dad an offer when he started the subdivision. I'm going to take my rounded filbert brush again. I'm going to do the one-stroke treatment from Donna Newberry, where I put the brown paint on one side and the orange paint on the other. And you can see I'm getting a nice blend there, right? That's going to give me immediate depth and that on my hat when I go along here along the edge and add depth. Now, the one thing you need to remember when you're doing this, I've already used up all the paint on this side, right? I turn it over. There's still paint on that side, so I'm going to take it here. And blend that out. See, isn't that nice? I like it. I'm going to do it one more time and go along the cap here, I think. There, that looks nice, right? We also need to do some along here. Very good, very good, very good. I'm so pleased with that, with the way that looks. Very nice. Now, the question I have to ask myself, is there anywhere else right now that I can use this brown and or this orange? And, Pueblo. And I'm going to say the answer is probably no. So I've cleaned my brush, and I'm going to get a little bit of gray. In fact, I'm going to have to make my gray. Well, I do have a gray here. Dolphin gray at that. I'm going to put a first coat for his beard down. That just helps later on when we're adding layers. Beards are always a matter of layers. And see, this is just dark enough. I'm just going to lay a nice layer of gray. This does not have to be full in down here. It can be very wispy, because wispy is his beard, right? We're just giving him a base. Got a little bit in the nose, and that's okay. Not a big deal. Nothing to get your panties in a bunch about. I'm going to go up here by the nose again and just get in here real good. Okay. While we're here, we might as well lay down just a couple drops around the nose here, just to get some definition there. I don't know if this is the right brush to have, probably not. See there again, this is just one more layer. One more layer of color. We're deepening our color now here, watch. Now we're adding some shadow underneath the brim of that hat. Well, it's some shadows since I can get paint on my brush. Okay. Right? Don't have much shadow on this side. Yeah, that's good. See? Bring that down into that. I may have just fouled that up, but that's okay. There's no accidents, right? It's only happy accidents. We'll be coming back to cover that up here shortly. Well. I am going to take some of that orange, or I mean the brown, and a little bit of that black that I have. And this corner here is kind of dark. That's where some of our grass is going to live. We don't have to wash our brush too good, too well, but we are going to start applying in some of that grass. And for that, we're going to need a couple colors. We got a green going on, and a marshy green there, and a deeper golden sunset. I think I'm going to add some of that too. And we're just going to come in here and I did teach it with a sponge last time, but this is just as easy, just as quick, and probably far more familiar for you. We'll just go in and add some grass. We can go all the way up to the beard. We can wipe out those flowers because it'll be so easy to draw those back in. We'll go up to the side here. We're going to start mixing in some yellow here, some yellow green. Bring that down in here, mellow it out a little bit. See, by the time this green is done and dry, we can go back over for his beard. You can see I'm using these three colors here, this Christmas Kelly green, the marsh green, and this golden sunset, just to lay down some marshy color. You can use the edge of that brush to tap in there along that beard. And we're just going to lay down the same kind of grass effects on this side. We got a little bit of a bush thing going on back here where we have some other flowers. So we're going to say that this is the grass line here. Okay? We're going to let that grass line end there. So before I paint over it, let's not paint over it. We can paint over these flowers because it'll be easy enough to paint those back in, okay? Do not fret. Flowers are our friend, and they are easy to work back in. Always paint the sides of your canvas for a finished effect. And you may as well do it with the paint you got in your hand at the time, because if you have to blend colors, it's not often easy to score the same color again, unless, of course, you write it down and are that particular. More power to you, my darling. More power to you. And so now that we've got that grass added in up there, it does get a little light. But I am going to use the black and brown that I've got left over here and some of this gray and work up in here. Maybe even more gray into that background. Careful of the edge of the beard. These are just little bushes. We'll blend that down into that. Little bushes. We'll have our sky going up in there pretty soon. I like that. That looks good. Now, that one, the actual reference picture makes this look a little lighter. I'm going to add a lighter green. Add some more depth here. Take in some of this green and maybe make it a sage in here. Get a dry brush effect, maybe. We'll see how we like that. Try and get some holler at some dark shadows. Just remember when you were a kid, did you ever make tree forts or anything like that and go hide off in the forest? Well, that 97 acres I was talking about was surrounded by a forest. And let me tell you, we had some great adventures. Absolute great adventures growing up. Because our whole property was surrounded by forest, and my father was huge into us making sure that we were involved in sport, or not sports, but scouts. We were a big scouting family, yes we were. Now we can play with all our colors here that we have together. Make it as light and pretty and hearty as possible. He is in the forest. Our little woodland gnome. And this happy little birdie has hopped on him. For all we know, it's his buddy, right? For all we know, you know, these gnomes, they have some really important jobs. And if it's his job to take care of those little birdies, very seriously. I'm just going to try and blend these together so they look more natural. That doesn't look too bad at all. We do have some darkness that goes up in this area here. Now we can scuff this out a little bit. I'm going to wipe off my brush now and wash it really well. I'm going to turn this for a minute, recharge my batteries, and be back to finish this. In this segment, we're going to do this background. We're going to be using this cream color. It's actually an antique parchment. Back to the King's Gold. Have a little spring green, some holly green, and back to the marsh green again. My colors are still viable here because I do have a wet palette underneath, and that helps. Normally I've taught this class before using sponges here, but with this it's so hard to use a sponge if you're new with it in a tight corner like this. So we're just going to take the beige here and fill this in at the hat. You can always spin your brush to get that paint on the sides. When you apply paint on your brush the right way, your brush should be full of paint and able to spin and give you those fine lines you need. And then we will be filling that little birdie in at some point. I'm getting it in here. I see in here that it's a little bit lighter, so I am going to take some white and just lay it on the center to add some different depth to this look here. I'm mixing this with a little white, my cream base there. Getting as close to the hat without touching it. See, I just wrecked that. We need to highlight that area here soon, so I'm not going to worry about it. Get to right. Clean that little bit of orange off. I don't want orange in my sky necessarily. Not this day. Get that little bit of white to help me soften that a little bit. You could do this with a little bit bigger brush, but then you would have had to switch brushes after you did the center. So, I mean, what's the point? We're coming up now to where we're going to mix. See here? We're going to soften this color here. We got some here. We'll bring that up. Since I did cut some of my sponge, I'm just going to show you real quick how fun that sponging is. You can see me okay? See what a nice technique it is? It blends it automatically. Oh yeah, I really like that. It frames this picture out nicely. Looky, looky, looky. And the other thing I liked about the sponge is that you can really get kind of close with it. Pretty cool, right? I need to get in there a little bit better. Now we can add other colors. We'll go on top with the lighter. Bring it, the light, to the center there, see? Oh yeah. I dig that. That's very cool. This is why I like the sponge, because you can lay down some intense color, and you can also then lighten it up to really open up that doorway or that frame. Oh yeah. And I'm really glad that I've already laid down. I'm gonna take this over here a little bit and lay some foundation. It's going mostly green here, but you can mostly do that to the sides here too. That's a nice foundation. I'm going to take the other end of this sponge, see? And I'm going to use two colors, the marsh green and Kelly green, and just tap on the very edges here. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys what we're listening to. This is Lo-Fi's fantasy medieval barroom scene. This is copyright-free music found on this little site you might be aware of called YouTube. We've discussed BMI before. More gold is up here needed, I do believe. Get that take that up to the edge of the hat. That softer green that I made using the gold. I'm going to have to get in here with the brown a little bit. Just a little bit of the brown. Just along here. Okay, I took some more brown and I'm just gonna go along the edge of this hat. I may even come back with my finger, put a little water on my finger, come back in here and work this. There we go. We want a little bit of a shadow there. Blend that nice. Now, let's see here. A little bit more green. That's on this side. Just tap, 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 tap. I have 3 bananas ready, and don't you know, this fruit fly has already found me. I like it. I like it, I like it, I like it. I'm going to let this section dry. We'll be right back. Okay, picking up where we left off. I think I'm okay with this, right? Are you? It looks pretty good from the camera's point of view. I put some blue bonnet on my new palette along with a little bit of white. I am going to use a small flat, and this is a place or an occasion where you could easily use Q-tips to paint the flowers, but I'm just going to give these a go. I'm just going to get, I think I like the other one, the filbert. I love this filbert, man. It's just the brush of my dreams. It's got so much going for it. I'm going to put a lot of paint on my brush, so I only have to do this once. I'm going to come in here and just tap. Both sides has flowers. We just have to, you know, it's like an impressionist painting. We just have to mention that there's flowers here, right? Now, the white I put on the plate. These seem to be tipped in get the little bases. Now with that, I'm going to wipe off get a little bit more of the blue bonnet on my brush. Now it's a little bit more dry. Just come through here and tip those flowers again. How cute is that? What you do to one side, you need to do to the other. But this is a darker scene, right? So I'll have to go back in and go over the white again. But the fact that it's there and lightens up that base is all I could really ask for anyway. That's a nice mix to have to paint these robin eggs with. I'm going to go in with the white first. We'll probably have to end up going over these again because we're going to be adding a lot of dark color there. But it's Ote Panky. I'm going to outline these. See how much nice work I can get done when I have enough paint on my brush. I have 3 brushes in the water at this moment. That's not a good thing. I really do believe that we could move ahead and paint our little blue bunting bird. Give him a little crown. Looks like he's blue all the way down here. This is definitely not a robin. That's funny. Well, I think my guests were kind of confused too. Really? Is the gnome's name Robin? I don't see a robin. Okay, at that point, it was a really cold day when I set this up, so I think I was happy to see any bird. Any bird at all. Let's see, get a little flare on that, a little flare on the front. I'm going to use some of the orange I had left over in this palette to do his breast. Cute, cute. I think I'm going to use that and bring that down just a suggestion right there. So stinking cute. We didn't have paint on this brush long, so it cleaned up really nice and really quickly. I'm going to put one little drop of black on there. And when I mean one drop, I mean one drop. I don't need much more, right? Because all I'm going to do is paint a little bitty beak. And there's a little bitty beak right here. And a little bitty eye. There. Now, cleaning the brush off again, and take a little bit of this white and a little bit of this orange that's left over from painting the hat. Soften that a bit with the white. And just bring this down a little bit into his chest. Just to soften that color a little bit. There we go. I like that. I like it like that. Now, you know, to keep true with our shading situation, I don't like this brush for that. That's too... Let me see what we got here. I will find a brush that I can manage this with, I hope. So we have the blue, right? That we have the blue bonnet. I'm just going to pick up a tip's worth of black just to darken that a bit. Come back here and darken that a bit. See how we've got the rest of the bird painted, so we can just use what's left there and darken that a bit. I had one little tip of paint, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around my little blue bunting. Give him a little highlight here and there. Low lights, highlights. See how that made him stand out a little bit? We can do the same on the bottom. We'll dip that brush back in the black. Just a little bit. Get a little bit on the brush right there, see? And then we're going to tip our brush outside. Well, we're going to, hold it whichever way is comfortable for you, but all I'm going to do is line right here. I just want to touch my brush there with a little bit of extra darkness. Just to make it pop a little bit. See, that wasn't a lot. It was hardly anything on the brush. But that helped to pull that out a little bit. Am I right? I think so. So, Let's go over to the bird's nest and see what kind of trouble we can get in there. While I've got this thinner brush in my hand, it's like a thin round, but it just came out of one of those 10 packs. I'm going to use my black and my brown. Let's draw some in some of these branches here. Make sure you always have plenty of paint on your brush. So you can get those runs going like a singer would, you know. Here we go. I have the picture, so I'm grateful I can see where these are supposed to go. I'm glad I had those flowers pre-painted. Now, I've got a black and a brown, so I can take that and tip that up. Take the lighter brown color, go on top for a shadow. Turn my brush over, it's where more paint is at. I like that. I'm going to go up to the top and do the same thing. Where's our light coming from? Okay, so we got that. Need to get a little more brown on there. Get some brown on here. Just filling in these brushes, these branches along the way. The contrasting blue and black really looks nice. Now this branch is going to be getting thinner as we take it out. We got one here. Got one going out that way. Then we got a short stubby arm. Whoops. Got a booger on that one. Okay. Now I'm going to go back over and do the brown thing again to highlight the top. And even if I hit some of that background, I'm okay, because that makes my highlight stand out more. Right? There. Now we got one more spot here. Bring it down there. There. I likes it. I loves it. I want some more of it. So I'm going to stay with this brush. It's a nice size to work with, especially if I've got those little corners to go through. But let's get in here. I'm painting that pesky nest now. I think that's going to be more about shading even more and finding our spot here. I'm going to get as much paint on that as I can. Well, oh, look what, see, I did. I'm a bad girl. I did a boo-boo right there, and hopefully my art teacher tells me that I can clean that up using an alcohol wipe. And I pray like heck she's right. Well, not quite. It's taking it off. It's moving it. Yeah, we can fix that. We can fix that, my love. We'll clean that up a touch. Go back in here with the gray or with the gold and the blonde. Oops, we still got black on there. Okay. Sometimes the mistakes we make are happy accidents, and sometimes the mistakes we make are a bigger bummer. I guess I got that. Wow, that one okay. I am going to go over this branch. There. That doesn't look horrible, and you're never going to be able to tell the difference when we're done. Okay, so now we got a few leaves we're going to add. I'm going to start with the marsh green. Just come up here and like that and bring it down. See? Little leaf. We got some little leaf. With a little leaf here. Cute, 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 cute. Yep. I know I was in the middle of painting that nest. But I just figure, you know what, I got the... I'm on the leaf train right now, so I guess I'm going to stay there for a second. Just to get them placed, you know. Can always come back and doctor them up. Just to get our placement here. See where we're at. Oh, here's one. Okay. More leaves up here. This one wants to be a lighter color. As does this one. I'm going to go back in and mix and model with the brown and the beige and just fill in this area here where I think this foundation is for this nest. It's hard to tell in this drawing what the artist was thinking. But if we just mix it up a bit. Alright, I'm going to wipe my brush off. It's getting a little gray in there. And I still want to go back in and grab some more brown. Well, at this point I need to fix this spot right here. Now we get to use up some more of the white that we poured and some of that cream. These are little white flowers in here. Just adorable little white flowers. Cute. I think I have enough paint. Little bubble flowers. Cute, cute, cute. We're just going to need one little squirt of a yellow. Which I happen to have right here. Put it on a plate with some size to it, right? That's way, way too much. We just need the very centers of these little guys filled in. See? Cute, cute, cute. Now, we are in precarious times, and I try not to waste my paint. So, that excess amount of yellow I put out, I am pouring back into the bottle. Because, although paint isn't horribly expensive, this is the kind I use for this, it is still money. And I hate to waste it, and you never know what's going to happen. I may never get any more paint. Who knows? Hey, how about we do a nose, huh? What do you say? Oh, I see something we need to do first. We were just up in that area. Let's finish that area first. Let's go in here between... Whoa! Yeah, we're going to do the nose. My flowers are wet. And I'd really rather not ruin the work I just did. If you feel me. Alright, so I do have some of that beige left. Beige antique parchment. Whatever that is. I am looking for a color. I swear to goodness I am. Oh. Yes, I found it. Sun-kissed peach. Perfect for any gnome's nose. We just, there again, need just a little drop. I'm using my filbert, my round filbert. Oh, I had a heart and I ruined it. Alright, so I'm taking and getting my brush full of the paint because this is a place where we really want this to go in one smooth motion. And the filbert and the flats are really ones to do this with. So I'm just going to lay it on the side, move my hand, keep playing that brush. Okay. I'm going to come this side again, turning my brush over where there's more paint, and meet the other side. Not bad, huh? Not bad at all. So that's pretty good coverage for one single coat. And looky, we have some red. I was looking for a little bit of red. There again, we want to shade and make everything that we do stand out, right? So I'm going to take the peach that I still have left over, take a little drop of that red, just a little drop. I don't even know if you can see how much is on there. I'll mix it up with that peach. There. We're going to do the one-stroke treatment on this nose. Just go along the edge. Oh, geez. I had a mishap there. I almost dumped my plate. I should have let it go. Because now I have to go back and fix my hat. I'm just going to take my little brush again. The liner brush. See? Don't even notice it. But I also am going to take that little liner brush again. I have a little bit of white left on my plate. I'm going to get my brush nice and wet. And I'm not even going to use this much paint. Hardly at all. Hardly at all. But I'm just going to take it and give it a little accent. See? A little highlight on his nose. On his little nose. Okay, so most of this is dry, so I can sneak back in here and paint between these eggs. If I'm using the black, that'll also give some depth of field for these eggs. I'm going to go back grab a little bit more of that blue. Just come along the edges there. I think we need just a little touch of white on top of those that blended in. I'm going to add a little bit of water to make that free moving. Just a little bit of white. Just a little bit of white. Just a little bit of white. There we go. Speaking of white, we're going to work on his beard next. Next up is his beard. And we're going to move that plate across. We're going to put a nice portion of white on our plate. About a nickel size, or even a dime, really. It still does not take a whole lot of paint. I'm also going to have a drop or two of the black to finish that beard off, just for a little bit of highlight. You know, a little bit of highlights. I am going to use a flat on this. Okay. I'm going in dry with my dry brush. And I'm just going to get that brush as loaded as I can. I'm going to start at the bottom and I'm going to flick. One stroke at a time. You will get the hang of it by the time you're done with this beard, or hopefully before that, and you'll get a nice flow. But do you see why we painted the gray first? See what I just did there? I flipped my brush over because there's more paint over on that other side. And I'm just going to follow that up. Natural flow of paint. Natural flow of hair on his beard. Work it up into the darkness. Come back in. Get some more paint on your brush. Tap it off. Come back in. We're just gonna little strokey strokes. More paint. Go in and grab it as you need it. Well, you like it so far? I love it so far. Alright. I'm going to keep going and fill this in. Let's just start at the bottom because I'm having to hold it. Because it's hard to manipulate on the bottom when you're on a palette, when you're on an easel. You can flick up or you can flick down. Do not go side to side. You can go up or you can go down. And get that wispy effect. You don't need a lot of paint on your brush. See how white this one is? We've only just started, folks. Never judge your painting until you're nearly finished, because it could be that last stroke that we add that really makes the difference. And you know what? That is so true. We just For me, this process is healing. I know, I hope that you can find that you enjoy this as much as I do. We're going to be careful because we created the shadow here, right? So we're just going to follow it down here and bring it up there. And then we're going to, there. Now we can take this black then, just tip the brush, tip the brush, tip the brush, just tip the brush, splay it out. See how I'm getting all those shades? We're going to come back up here and add some more here. That did not give me as dark as I thought it was going to. I'm going back up for some more black. See, just little strokes. I want you to get it really in there and see. See, I have the tip of the black, right? Just have to keep going in and grabbing just a, Jesus, just a touch of black, you know. Come back along side. Fill that in, okay? He has like a distinctive mark here, and we can add some of that. Pretty cool, huh? So light sometimes I don't even touch it, you know. It's wild, but I think I'm gonna wash that off real quick. Get some white in here and just go over this like this. Here we want. This musical selection through here was a part fantasy medieval barroom. And this one is from the relaxed movement, a lo-fi. So chill beats for your musical listening pleasure. Let's back off a little bit and see how we did with this guy. You must pardon the mess. It is an artist home, and that's my only excuse for this. Is my artist table, so have at it. This guy has been so much fun to paint. I hope you guys have the best time too, and I'll see you on the next painting.